We are here at MorningStar today, and I'm so excited to talk with Mr. Frank here. He was just telling me that you've lived in Idaho Falls since 1965?
63.
63. And you're not from here, though.
No.
What brought you out here?
The site, the Idaho National Laboratory.
So did you think that ultimately Idaho Falls would be your home when you first moved here?
No. I was drafted into the Army and spent better part of 2 years in Fairbanks, Alaska. I swore I'd never go north of Kansas again. And then we got this job and everything worked out, and then we never left here. We've lived at 3 different locations, rent, then a small house, and then a nice house, all within a 1-mile radius.
Yeah.
So even being over here on this side of town is a fairly new experience.
How many kids do you have?
3. One of my sons died early. I now have 2 kids that are 2 grandkids that are just getting through college. And who knows, I may even have a great-grandchild here pretty soon.
So when you look back on your life, now your kids' kids are about to get through college.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts as a grandpa, just reflecting back over the years?
Nothing really. When it gets down to the personal side of it, I just had so many unbelievable positive things happen. I'm very thankful for them, of course, but everything's changing. And that's difficult for me then to look at the coming generations, because they're not going to be anything like the one that I was in, and I don't know how I'd handle it. Things are so different now. And from the looks of things, they're going to get worse. I always chalk it up that I'm very old-fashioned. I was raised by my grandmother, who was born before the Civil War. My folks, I was midlife of my folks. They were before the airplane flew. And so I kind of had that as a background, and everything's been just a change like this ever since.
What would you say, Frank, are 1 or 2 lessons you learned raising your kids?
Well, as I say, you have to deal with change. When my kids, I'm sure when I went through school, it would probably change it from what my mother and father had experienced. And now full change from mine, and now I've got grandkids that are going through the same thing, and it's just a whole different set of values and everything else. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether it's affected the religious part of it or not, but just the things you read and just the information that's now becoming available. Going back to very quickly, for example, to the electronic stuff. I retired at the particular time, and it was just now people were beginning to have their own computers and stuff, and I never learned enough about it. My kids were the ones setting it up for me and everything. Same thing with my cell phone. I hardly know how to use it. I thought of it as a handy phone to go with you, but I had one of those things only about that big around in my pocket, originally, and I just as soon keep that.
There you go. Do you have any regrets, Frank?
Yes, I have some, that I've learned in the last few years. After I lost my wife, I got to thinking back on things, how things could have even been better. But then, you say, yeah, gosh, it could have even been this. But the way I look at it, it wasn't this. It was always really pretty good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I live with that.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I don't want to be remembered for anything. I hope I'll be remembered for somebody who didn't cause a lot of problems to anybody else. That's the thing I look back on through the years of the elderly in the family. I go back to when, if grandma needed taken care of at 79 or 80 or 81, the family did it. So I always figured, I ain't gonna be one of them problems. And so that's why I'm here, because all my family is down in California.
Oh.
That's one of the reasons why I'm here.
Well, thank you, Frank, for talking with me. It was nice meeting you.
Well, as I was making fun of this, I told him, I says, I hope they didn't bring the sheriff with them or anything like that.